It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Friday, November 7th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds today, the high 60. And then the weekend, well, it's a mixed bag. Saturday, sunshine, high 63. And then Sunday, we'll have showers in the morning, steady rain in the afternoon, high 60. If you are walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are, 33 and cloudy in Southampton out on Long Island. It's 31 and cloudy in Princeton over in New Jersey, and it's 36 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Pack your patience if you're headed to the airport. Can't believe I just used that phrase. Elise Stefanik wants to be New York's next governor, but another Republican may stand in her way. So how will Mayor-elect Mamdani make buses free? Those one-star ratings for stores, hotels, and restaurants may not be real. And here comes the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. All right, 5:01. Let's go out to the airports this morning. Expect major headaches at LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, along with 37 other big airports across the country as flights are being reduced beginning this morning by 10% thanks to the shutdown. Travel editor Peter Greenberg says 4,000 flights will be canceled from Friday until Tuesday across the board.
You're taking flight crews out of sequence, planes out of alignment and schedule, which means a lot of people won't be able to connect on flights or even originate on flights. And this is just the beginning.
This is all about giving some relief to the air traffic controllers, TSA agents who've been working without a paycheck for almost a month now. They've been calling in sick, and so they have to deal with that at the airports. His advice, Greenberg's advice, is kind of the advice you get like during the holidays. Be prepared to wait, pack extra snacks, games. If you have kids, if you have a big trip or major life event, consider changing your itinerary to get out on the first flight in the morning.
Now remember, we were already nearly 3,500 air traffic controllers short before the shutdown. So this is just making matters worse.
Yeah, so they're purposely doing this reduction because there's just not enough workers. Now, the minute the government shutdown ends and people start getting paid, hopefully that problem will be resolved.
The longer this goes on, the greater the economic impact. It will rise exponentially. And it's not a red state issue or a blue state issue. It's an economic issue. And that's probably going to provide the biggest incentive to end the shutdown.
And we're already hearing from flyers at the airport today.
It's detrimental to the economy. Because a lot of people need to travel for work, businesses, and things aren't able to function properly. It's shut down to the whole system.
Yeah, I think about those people who have life events they've planned like for a year or something like that. Now they're not sure if they're going to get there. The Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, says the shutdown has increased air traffic controller call-outs. He says expect delays, but it's all about keeping people safe until the shutdown ends.
It's already starting. I got friends that work in the airport industry as baggage handlers and stuff like that. So imagine if they shut it down completely.
Hopefully the government will be back up by the next time I travel.
Yeah, so you should have gotten notification if you're planning on flying in the next couple days from your airline telling you whether your flight's going to take off or not. But for sure, if you are heading out this morning or at any point today or over the weekend, check before you do so just to make sure that flight's taking off at all or when it's taking off if it's going to leave late. 5:03. Just yesterday, we started the show with these 7 firefighters who were hurt up in the Bronx when cars exploded up there. A number of those firefighters are still in the hospital. The good news we're getting, and they have serious burns, is that they're going to make full recovery, so that's good. But they're still in the hospital. But now we have more information about how this fire started.
They are expected to be okay. Serious burns, but non-life-threatening.
Yeah, so security video shows someone flicking a lit cigarette onto a sidewalk on Fox Street. That's near Westchester Avenue in Longwood where the cars exploded. Whipping winds propelled that cigarette onto a trash heap, which then ignited, then spread to multiple cars, and that's what triggered, you may have seen, these wild explosions up in the Bronx, a 2-story high fireball that these firefighters got caught behind. Thank God they're all going to survive. Authorities looking for whoever tossed out that lit cigarette. Tragedy unfolding in the West Village yesterday, and some neighbors say it could have been easily avoided.
A 27-year-old woman is dead after being struck in the crosswalk by a suspected wrong-way driver. It happened on 7th Avenue around 8:30 in the morning when the victim was hit by a GMC van. Cops say the 61-year-old driver of the van had turned left out of a parking garage instead of right onto Morton Street, which is a one-way street. Neighbors say in terms of drivers turning the wrong way out of that garage, it happens all the time because the signage is poor. The woman was given CPR at the scene but couldn't be saved. The driver, said to be a courier, is talking with NYPD detectives. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
There was a police-involved shooting in Queens yesterday that ended with a dead dog and a cop nursing a dog bite.
Police were called to the area of 114th Road and 155th Street in the Cambria Heights section of Queens around 8 a.m. People called about unleashed dogs chasing residents. They weren't kidding. When the cop got to the scene, they tried to round up 2 dogs. That's when a third snuck up behind them and bit them in the leg. The officer shot and killed the dog. No other details were given. Some reports say it was a pit bull, but the NYPD hasn't confirmed that. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
Reports say upstate Republican New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik preparing to run for governor next year. Most of that reporting about the 41-year-old who's served in Congress since 2015 says the Trump ally will announce she's running as soon as this morning. Now, President Trump, you'll remember, nominated Stefanik for UN ambassador the day he was sworn in for his second term, but the White House pulled her nomination over worries about the GOP's thin House majority. Now, she, of course, for a lot of people, will be known for this moment in Congress last year where she went after the presidents of the 3 top universities, Harvard, Penn, and MIT, Yale. There was more than 3, actually, in the end, for anti-Semitism on their campus. And she was able, in the end, I mean, it wasn't her who did it, but some of those presidents were given the heave-ho for not protecting Jewish students on campus. It was an amazing moment to watch.
A Harvard student calling for the mass murder of African Americans is not protected free speech at Harvard, correct?
Our commitment to free
It's a yes or no question. Is that corrected?
Yeah, it was an ugly moment in Congress, and boy, she did a good job grilling those presidents of those Ivy League schools. So now she's going to run, but Bruce Blakeman, who's the Nassau County executive, is sort of making it clear he wants the job. He's also a Republican, so there could be a primary fight. We're going to hear from Bruce Blakeman coming up after 5:30 about his plans. WABC News Time 508. Let's go down to D.C. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announcing yesterday she won't seek re-election. She did so in a video she dropped on her social media platforms.
I will not be seeking re-election to Congress. With a grateful heart, I look forward to my final year of service as your proud representative.
She's been in politics 4 decades, nearly 4 decades, representing San Francisco, 85 years old. She was the House Speaker 2007 to 2011, and then again from 2019 to 2023.
Because of your trust, I was able to represent our city and our country around the world with patriotism and pride.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke about her retirement yesterday.
Historic, legendary, transformational leader who will go down in history as the greatest speaker of all time. It's been the honor of my life to be able to serve with her, to be mentored by her. She's an amazing colleague. The country is better off today because of what Nancy Pelosi has done during her decades of public service.
So those are her fans on the left. President Trump, he says Nancy Pelosi is doing a good thing for the nation by retiring. President making his comments from the White House after Pelosi announced she's stepping down at the end of next year.
I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country.
He called her evil.
I thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot. in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible.
All right, so she'll retire at the end of 2026. 5:10, while we're talking about the president, the White House, he struck a deal to lower weight loss drug prices for Americans. The president says the price of drugs could be available for as little as $149 a month now.
This is a triumph for American patients that will save lives and improve the health of millions and millions of Americans. Amazing thing. They're amazing.
It is amazing to watch how many people, you must know people who are on Ozempic or Wegovy, and they look fantastic. There is, after maybe in some cases, people for decades have been trying to lose weight, and then it just falls right off of them. They look fantastic. And of course, even more importantly, it's better for their health. Now, some of those drugs go for more than $1,000 a month now, and they're not covered usually by any sort of medical plan. But this new deal with the pharma giants Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk could expand the coverage to include weight loss for some Medicare beneficiaries as well.
The United States is just 4% of the world's population and consumes only 13% of all prescription drugs, yet pharmaceutical companies make 75% of their profits from the American customer. I would say that's not so good.
Yeah, it's good he's starting with the weight loss drugs. Let's hope he goes for other ones as well. It's never seemed fair that you can cross the border in Canada and get things so much cheaper.
These are two companies that are behind the groundbreaking weight loss drugs that have helped millions of Americans struggling with obesity live better, longer lives, everything else. These are the two companies that really broke ground.
You know, I know people who microdose on these things, right? Because you can take a full-on dose, but you can take the microdose if you don't have as much weight to lose. Now that it's 100 or will be a little over $100 a month, I bet you'll have more people doing the microdosing as well. And there was a wild moment. Thankfully, he's okay, but there was a wild moment at this press conference when the president was making this announcement yesterday. The head of Novo Nordisk, the executive Gordon Finley, he dropped to the ground. He passed out during this news conference yesterday.
The representatives of the companies, and one of the companies got a little bit lightheaded. You saw he went down, and he's fine. They just sent him out. He's got doctor's care, but he's fine.
Yeah, the White House said its medical team quickly jumped into action. Actually, Dr. Oz was there. He's the administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, so that was the right guy to have in the room, and he was the one who raced over to this executive to make sure he was okay.
Gordon, you okay?
Yeah. Thankfully, apparently he was okay, just a little lightheaded. 5:13, a federal judge is ordering the White House now to pay full November SNAP benefits by today. The judge in Rhode Island said during yesterday's hearing that people have gone without for too long now.
It's an absurd ruling because you have a federal judge effectively telling us what we have to do in the midst of a Democrat government shutdown, which what we'd like to do is for the Democrats to open up the government. Of course, then we can fund SNAP, and we can also do a lot of other good things for the American people.
That's Vice President J.D. Vance commenting on the ruling yesterday. The Trump administration had planned to partially fund the food stamp program for 42 million Americans.
But after 30 days of this thing, 40 days of this thing, you're going to start seeing very real travel delays. That's because the Democrat government shut down. You're going to start seeing SNAP benefits run out. That's because the Democrat government shut down. They should stop this charade and open up the government. That's what we want them to do. We've been asking them to do it for 40 days. It's time.
The judge ruled the government must now draw from additional USDA funds so states can deliver full SNAP benefits. They must do so by today. And the Senate is set to vote again today on a pathway to end the government shutdown. Senate Majority Leader John Thune telling lawmakers over a conference lunch yesterday that another vote on the House-passed continuing resolution will take place today. It'll be the 15th time that this has happened.
The American people are unfortunately about to start suffering some very real consequences because of the shutdown.
Yeah, a GOP Senate aide has told The Hill that Thune says this time he is putting it on the floor, looking to amend it to attach a 3-bill spending package known as a minibus that has been part of the negotiations with Democrats. And apparently the two sides have some sort of deal. We'll see if the deal is in place when take that vote a little bit later today. All right, coming up in just a moment, we'll tell you about a new new poll that could be troubling to the White House as they look ahead to the 2026 midterms. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning. Happy Friday. Justin Ellick.
Good morning. Happy Friday to you. Noam Layden. We'll start with a recap. Thursday night football here. Your final from Denver. The Broncos beat the Raiders 10-7. Not a very high-scoring, action-packed game there. A lot of defense, but Broncos prevail, and they got 7 wins on the year now. Raiders are still very lowly. Coming up Sunday, early afternoon slate, 1 p.m. Both your Jets and Giants will be in action. The 2-7 Giants are 4.5-point road underdogs against the 5-3 Bears. As for the Jets, they're at home at MetLife, and they're at 1-7, of course, welcoming in the 2-6 Browns. Jets there, 2.5-point home underdogs. Head to the ice in Jersey. Jesper Bratt scored on a breakaway about a minute and a half into overtime, and the Devils beat the Canadiens 4-3. Andre Palat and Timo Meier each had a goal, and Cody Glass also scored in his return from an injury for New Jersey, which got its second win in 5 games. After winning 8 straight, Jacob Markstrom stopped 16 shots, and with Markstrom pulled for an extra skater, Meier tied it for New Jersey from the side of the net with just over a minute remaining in regulation off a furious scramble in front. Devils defenseman Dougie Hamilton left the game early in the middle period and did not return. Up next for the Devs, they'll host the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow. Coming up tonight on the ice, 7 p.m. puck drops to look forward to. The Rangers are out in Detroit against the Red Wings, and the Islanders will host the Minnesota Wild. And you have one NBA basketball game to look forward to tonight as well. 7:30 p.m. tip-off for the Brooklyn Nets. They will host the 6-2 Detroit Pistons there. That is your Sports Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:19. President Trump says losing the tariff case in the Supreme Court would be catastrophic for the U.S. He was speaking to reporters at the White House about the Supreme Court hearing a case on Wednesday that centers around the legality of the president using tariffs without working with Congress.
We thought we did very well yesterday. We hope that we did. I think it would be devastating for our country, but I also think that we'll have to develop a Game 2 plan. We'll see what happens.
The president says the tariffs have been a game changer for the U.S. economy.
Look, I'm ending war because of these tariffs. Americans would have to fight in some of these wars. You have to be quick moving. You can't wait around for months and months while you're doing studies and you're doing all of this, or go back to Congress. Look at Congress. We can't even get a continuation from Congress.
The president says the tariffs have been used to end war, citing the end of the India-Pakistan conflict. A new poll of Hispanics is a little bit troubling for Republicans. It shows more than 1/3 of Latinos say the economy is worse than it was a year ago and mostly blame Republicans for the shutdown.
In Florida, 55% of Florida's Hispanic voters blame Trump and the Republicans in Congress for the shutdown, compared to 24% blaming Democrats in Congress.
That's BPS researcher Barry Segura, who says the Unidos bipartisan poll of Hispanic voters found the majority of Florida's Latinos worry about income, job security. 81% concerned that Congress is giving the president too much authority over immigration deportations and crime crackdown.
Prices and affordability, number 1. Wages and good jobs, number 2. And then there's a 25-point drop to all other issues. Making ends meet is what's really top of mind for Hispanic voters in Florida.
Now, Republicans looking at these numbers in Florida say they still have time to change people's minds.
The Hispanic population in Florida, like all the other states, is feeling very insecure with respect to income and job stability.
But the same poll did find a large majority of 2024 Trump voters, nearly 80%, would not change their vote if they could go back and change it. 521, FAA records show the UPS plane that crashed and killed more than a dozen people in Louisville earlier this week spent time at a maintenance facility. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg says his city is supporting the NTSB's investigation into this crash.
Their job is to learn what happened, use that knowledge to prevent future tragedies like this from happening in the future. And so we want to support the NTSB in every way, shape, or form that we can.
Maintenance records show a crack in the jet's fuel tank needed a permanent repair. It was grounded in San Antonio from September 3rd until October 18th. The jet crashed on Tuesday while taking off from Muhammad Ali International Airport, causing a massive fireball.
It's also during times like this that coming together is so important. And being together as a community can help in the healing process, help in the grieving process, and to help as we all move forward into the future.
NTSB says ground video appears to show the left engine detaching from a wing just before the plane went down. UPS identifying yesterday the 3 crew members who were killed. It was Captain Richard Wartenberg, First Officer Lee Truitt, and International Relief Officer Captain Dana Diamond, who were operating this flight.
I'm Nando Cesaro, Executive Vice President at UPS. I want to first express my deep sorrow for this heartbreaking event and stress that our current focus is on the needs of all of those affected. This is an ongoing investigation, and we are cooperating with the National Transportation Safety Board. We will work tirelessly to understand the cause of this accident.
Yeah, leader of the UPS there. 523. A jury awarding $10 million now to a Virginia teacher who was shot by a 6-year-old student. Abigail Warner had sued the school's former assistant principal, Ebony Parker, claiming she had ignored warning signs about this boy and word that he may have access to a gun.
I think it says that what happened at Rich Neck Elementary School that day was wrong and is not going to be tolerated. That safety has to be the first concern at schools. I think it's a great message. That's
Warner's attorney speaking after the verdict was announced yesterday. The boy shot Warner in the hand and chest. This was January of 2023. Probably remember this story. Parker's attorney had told jurors her client did not have a legal duty to protect Warner. So that was part of this case as well.
This has been a good week for Abby to get to finally speak for the first time and be heard. So we're very happy with the fact that Abby's story got to be told.
Yeah, 524, a massive fire destroying the home of the coach of the Miami Heat. Coach Eric Spoelstra arrived home Wednesday night after a game in Denver to find his mansion near Coral Gables up in flames.
We found fire that was as tall as the trees. Our units came in, did an excellent job. We used multiple aerial apparatuses, fire engines, and rescues to help combat this incident.
That's the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Battalion Chief Victoria Bird.
Miami-Dade Fire Rescue responded with over 20 units, including a hazardous materials response, to combat this fire.
Yeah, she said it was pretty tough to battle this thing.
Due to the privacy wall and a lot of the tree cover, it was very difficult to access with only one point of entry. The men and women from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue were able to extinguish this fire and do the best job that they could.
The head coach saying what he was most happy about, there was no reports of any injuries. Now they have to figure out what sparked that huge blaze. 525, let's go overseas. Journalists have been getting a look at a part of Gaza that had been the site of some of the fiercest fighting in the war between Hamas and Israel. Correspondent Matt Bradley says he visited an Israeli military outpost in Gaza yesterday.
Even just looking down into Shuja'iyah, we didn't see a single living soul. Now, this position is meant for the IDF to oversee the so-called yellow line. And the IDF told us that Hamas has been challenging this position on a daily basis, sometimes more than once a day.
Now, the U.S. brokered ceasefire deal, it's still holding today. The U.S. is working on a resolution to present the United Nations Security Council that would establish a so-called International Stabilization Force to increase security in Gaza. More from Matt Bradley, who was there yesterday.
The U.S. is working on a resolution to present to the United Nations Security Council that would authorize a so-called International Stabilization Force. And if this is to be approved, it would be a big step toward making this ceasefire into a more permanent treaty.
Yeah. All right, 526 on a much lighter note. The Christmas Spectacular at Radio City Music Hall started yesterday, earlier than it usually has, but the demand is there. They think a million people will see this thing. Is that possible? That's the number I'm reading here, but that seems how many people fit at Radio City Music Hall? If you do November 5th and you go through Christmas, well, maybe I guess it's possible. So it's been 100 years since the Rockettes were founded in 1925. Here's what the Rockettes say about how the show is evolving this year.
The show continues to become more intricate and complex.
Yeah, the anniversary will be marked by special events, including this extended season of the Christmas Spectacular. 90-minute show will run through January 5th. Will include the fan favorite Parade of the Wooden Soldiers.
We say that we are athletes dripping in diamonds.
Yeah, now I was just figuring it out in my head. There's no way that 1 million people can see it between now and then, and why they threw that number out there. But a lot of people will see the Christmas Spectacular between now and January when it closes. All right, 527, traffic, transit on the 7s. Here's Joe Nolan.
They do 2-3 shows a day, don't they?
Right, so how many people fit into the...
I don't know.
Let's say it's 5,000.
No, more than
Is
that.
it 7,000?
Yeah. So, all right,
so it's three shows a day.
That's 21,000.
That's 21,000 a day. It's
We're probably totally wrong. It probably seats like 40,000 or something.
No, it's not that big.
No, it's not that big.
All right. You know what? While you do the traffic, I'm going to see how many people it sits.
All right,
seats, rather.
Well, I'm Joe Nolan with Traffic Talk Radio 77 WABC.
All right, so it's 5,960 seats at Radio City Music Hall.
Okay, well, there you go. You were right.
So you times that by 3. And I'm not doing this in my head. I have a calculator here. 17,880. I'm not, Rain Man or anything. 17,880 a day, right? So today is the 7th. It's 2 days already they've been doing this. So say we'll round it up to 20,000. Oh, you know what?
Right?
That reach 1 million. They may be right about that. I think. I mean, the reason neither of us can figure this out is because we work in radio.
Exactly. Yeah. But we did take a deep dive. I'm very impressed.
Right. This is the deepest dive I've done in any story in a long time. All right. Well, I'm going to calculate that. I'll get back to you, Joe.
All right.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Friday, November 7th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center will have a mix of sun and clouds today, the high 60. And then the weekend, well, it's a mixed bag. Saturday, sunshine, high 63. And then Sunday, we'll have showers in the morning, steady rain in the afternoon, high 60. If you are walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are, 33 and cloudy in Southampton out on Long Island. It's 31 and cloudy in Princeton over in New Jersey, and it's 36 and cloudy right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 539. It's going to be maybe bad news at the airports all weekend long. The government purposely slowing down flight patterns because there's just not enough workers at the airport. TSA workers, maybe more importantly, air traffic control workers, all due to the government shutdown. They've been without a paycheck for almost a month now, so these flights will be reduced by 10%. It starts this morning. Now, you're supposed to get notification that your flight is either delayed, canceled, or on time. We don't know if that's really going to work out that way. Flyers are finding out this morning as they show up at airports across country.
The government. In 3 weeks, we will go back to Switzerland and we will fly over San Francisco. And I hope we don't get problems.
The FAA cutting flight capacity at 40 airports as this government shutdown goes into day 38.
The flight was delayed until 10 o'clock. And then just now, as we're walking through the security gates, we had a pop-up and it said canceled. Probably going to try and get a car and drive home.
Yeah, so the thought is these reductions will go through Tuesday. They're taking another vote, by the way, in Washington, D.C. today on the government shutdown. Whether they'll get it through or not clear, though. Members of the Senate say they do have some sort of deal they think can get through. So we'll, of course, watch that as that happens a little bit later today. But this airport slowdown, that'll be through at least Tuesday. So if there's somebody who's flying out for some life event, a business trip, or just a vacation, for sure you want to check before you head out to do so. The other aspect, and there's numerous aspects of this shutdown, shut down, but some of it is the SNAP benefits, which are not being funded. The federal government's being told they have to fund it beginning today. But of course, people have been worried about not being able to pay for their groceries, and they've been showing up at food banks. Normally, people get these food stamps that help them pay the groceries for the month, for the week. And so people worried about not getting those SNAP benefits have been showing up at food pantries across the country. And that's true here in New York City as well. Food banks say they've seen a surge of people coming in looking for groceries.
It has gotten longer, and people are here much earlier than they were before.
They are here since 2 o'clock in the morning, making the line. Something is something, we need it.
All my friends, they're calling me, do you get your monies in your car? And I said, no, not yet.
Yes, so a Rhode Island judge yesterday ruling that the White House must fully fund the SNAP program as soon as this morning, but it'll still take a number of days until those funds show up in people's SNAP accounts where they'll be able to use those cards. So there will be people still showing up at these pantries, food, soup kitchens, I'm sure, all weekend long as well. 5:42. The search is on for the person or people involved in the shooting death of an 18-year-old woman who was found shot in the head over the weekend on Manhattan's Upper West Side. Now, they had initially told the family of this 18-year-old, Kimberly Olmos, that they thought she had shot herself. But now they say no, that's not the case. Her family and friends say the killer needs to come forward.
She was amazing. I don't know how to explain it. She was just a delight. Like, you ever been around somebody and you just felt like everything, like your whole room was just filled, like a hole in your heart was just filled. That's exactly how she was. Like, she knew how to make sure to make you laugh. She knew what to say to you.
So the shooting happened about 12:45 a.m. Sunday at a public housing complex on West 55th Street. Officers found Olmos in a stairwell with a gunshot wound to the head. They originally thought it was self-inflicted, but now they believe she was with someone who might have been playing with a gun that went off, and then that person ran away. So they're searching for that person today.
We lost another young soul to gun violence, and someone I was actually close with. It's my friend.
Turn yourself in. Like, at the end of the day, you did wrong. Like, it's your fault. And, like, you have to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, an online fundraiser now been set up to help the Olmos family organize a funeral, which is planned for Sunday. We're finding out more about Wednesday night's explosion up in the Bronx that injured 7 firefighters.
3 firefighters remain hospitalized after battling a blaze that spread to multiple vehicles in the Longwood section.
They are expected to be okay. Serious burns, but non-life-threatening.
Security video shows someone flicking a lit cigarette onto a sidewalk on Fox Street near Westchester Avenue. Whipping wind sent that cigarette onto a trash heap, which then ignited, spreading to multiple cars, triggering explosions and a 2-story high fireball. Authorities now are looking for whoever tossed that lit cigarette. Lisa Ritchie, 77 WABC News.
A new report says NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch got a heads up from the Trump administration ahead of last month's ICE crackdown in Chinatown that ended in a clash with protesters in the streets.
The New York Daily News says Tisch found out about the raid about 4 hours before agents started cracking down on vendors along Canal Street, and that she ordered the NYPD to stay away from the agents. The report comes days after new Mayor-elect Mamdani said he wanted Tisch to stay on after he's inaugurated. A Mamdani spokesperson responded to the report by expressing support for Tisch. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
In a moment, we'll hear how Mayor-elect Mamdani plans to roll out free buses. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Ella.
Thank you, Noam Layden. Start with a Thursday Night Football recap. Your final from Denver. Broncos beat the Raiders 10-7. Coming up Sunday, early afternoon slate, 1 p.m. kickoffs for both the Giants and the Jets. 2-7 Giants are 4.5-point road underdogs in Chicago against the 5-3 Bears. And your 1-7 Jets, they will will welcome in the 2-6 Cleveland Browns as 2.5-point home underdogs in that one. Head to the ice in Jersey. Jesper Bratt scored on a breakaway about a minute and a half into overtime, and the Devils beat the Canadiens 4-3. Andre Palat and Timo Meier each had a goal, and Cody Glass also scored in his return from an injury for New Jersey, which got its second win in 5 games after winning 8 straight. Jacob Markstrom stopped 16 shots, and with Markstrom pulled for an extra skater, Meier tied it for Jersey from the side of the net with just over a minute remaining in regulation off a furious scramble in front. Devils defenseman Dougie Hamilton left the game early in the middle period and did not return. Up next for the Devils, they'll host the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow. Looking ahead to ice hockey action tonight to 7 p.m. puck drops. The Rangers are out in Detroit against the Red Wings, and the Islanders will host the Minnesota Wild. And looking ahead to hardwood action tonight, the 1-7 Nets are back in action. They will welcome in the 6-2 Pistons into Brooklyn. That is a 7:30 p.m. tip-off. That's your Sports Gnome, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
Thank you very much, Justin. 547, traffic, transit. Here's Joe Nolan.
Devils also undefeated at home, by the way.
Oh, look at that.
Lost. They're 6-0 at home.
Wow. Have you been going to all the games?
No, I have not been going to the games, but no.
Maybe that's why.
First thought about that? Yeah, right, exactly. Stay away.
WABC News Time 548. Let's go out to Long Island. Just a horrendous story out of there. A teenager died in a collision with an SUV. Police say the crash happened as 14-year-old Jaden Flores was riding an e-bike to Mepham High in North Belmore yesterday. A homeowner who lives right where the accident took place said she heard a loud bang, rushed outside to find this teenager lying on her front lawn. She instantly started to give him CPR.
Even though I knew right away when I saw him that it was too late, I felt his pulse, and I know as a mother that I had to do everything I could to try. And I just did it as long as I could until the policeman came.
Yeah, just a life-changing event for her. Jaden's mother, of course, a devastating moment for the mother who rushed to the home when she heard about the accident.
I thought he was fine because he was wearing his helmet. I don't know what happened. You know, there is like a light here. My son he always respect the light. So I know he crossed when he has to cross. You have to be careful crossing the street and everything. He said, yeah, I'm not speeding. I'm not just going like 15.
Police say the 45-year-old SUV driver was heading south on Belmore Avenue. It's still not clear who had the light.
You can't protect your kids, every single day of their life. As they get older, they go off and do their own things, and you just pray to God that they're safe. But sometimes things are out of our control.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely pray that. Nassau County law requires e-bike and scooter drivers to be at least 16. Jaden's family had recently moved to the area from Queens. The Belmore Merrick School District, they activated their crisis response team yesterday, making counselors available for his heartbroken classmates. Police say the SUV driver, by the way, stayed at the scene after the crash, and no charges so far have been filed against them. 5:50, upstate New York Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik will likely announce she's running for governor today. Numerous reports say she'll announce the plan to challenge Kathy Hochul next year. Stefanik is considered, of course, a close ally of President Trump. If she does indeed decide to run, though, it's likely now that she'll face a primary challenge from Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who insinuated this week that he is going to run for governor. Here he is talking to News 12.
Since the election, I've gotten a lot of calls from around the state, from business leaders, community leaders, political leaders, all urging me to do it. I'm going to take a couple of weeks, meet with a lot of people around the state, and then I'll come to a decision.
So, of course, the thought on his part, he comes from Nassau County, large population there. Elise Stefanik comes from small town upstate. Blakeman bucked historical trends because Nassau County is really sort of a blue place. He's turned it red. He's won 2 terms now. And political pundits, they like Bruce Blakeman. They think he has a decent shot of beating Stefanik if he challenges her in a primary.
Bruce brings a lot of other things to the table that she does not. Obviously large executive experience, being executive one of the largest counties in the United States. And Bruce has been a dynamic fundraiser as well.
Yeah, New York last elected a Republican governor. You got to go back to 2002. That was George Pataki when he won a third term in office. Bruce Blakeman says if he does decide to run, and it sure sounds like he's going to, he says he's got one comment to make.
If I run for governor, I'm very certain that I would win.
Yeah, okay. One of Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani's major campaign promises is to make city buses free, a plan that excited a lot of voters, but can he deliver on that? Well, the Riders Alliance says the plan could be transformational, saving riders time and helping families across the city to get where they need without worrying about how they'll pay for it. So they're all behind this plan if they can figure out a way to fund it.
Bus riders are short on time and short on money. Free buses would cost less than 1% of the city budget, less than 0.5% of the state budget.
Funding is the plan's biggest challenge. The Riders Alliance say this could cost about $700 million a year, though the MTA says probably more than that. And of course, the MTA, the city and state would have to agree to cover that. MTA Chair Janno Lieber, he addressed the idea a number of times during the campaign. He says it needs to be analyzed, but he welcomed any discussion that encouraged more and faster transit, that buses would move faster.
Obviously, you got to study all the big ideas that are being articulated.
In 2023, the MTA launched a fare-free pilot on 5 routes, including the Bronx's BX18 and Brooklyn's B60, giving more than 40,000 riders free trips for nearly a year before it ended in 2024. They say those buses did run faster. As Mayor-elect Mamdani prepares to take over at City Hall, his vision for fast and free buses could redefine the entire transit system in New York City if he's able to make that happen. And riders, well, they're not really sure. They like the idea of free buses, but they worry about things as well.
I think it's a good idea, especially for those in low-income housing and those in low-income communities.
Who's going to pay for the buses to be repaired and clean?
Yeah, good questions. Now the question, of course, the biggest question is if you can find the funding to make it a reality. 5:54 out to New Jersey. A North Jersey teenager, lucky to be alive. You know those heavy winds yesterday? Well, they tore down a giant tree that pierced his bedroom ceiling yesterday. The gusts at the time were about 50 miles an hour and uprooted this enormous tree, which crashed into the home in Ridgefield, ended up in the 18-year-old's bedroom, and he was trapped by it.
I don't even know how he managed to survive that. No scratch on him, no cut, nothing. It's a miracle.
Yeah, that's the boy's dad who found his son pinned, unable to move. He ran outside to get help. 30 minutes later, somehow he emerged from underneath this tree in his bedroom with nothing. He was fine.
He was just shaking. He could not speak. For him, he did not even know what happened because he blacked out.
Yeah, but otherwise he's A-OK. Of course, the house will need some repairs. A number of people lining up to run for a New Jersey congressional seat that will be vacated by Mikey Sherrill when she becomes governor early next year.
With Sherrill having been elected governor, she will eventually resign from her House seat, forcing an election to fill her term. Former Representative Tom Malinowski, Randolph Mayor Joe Hathaway, and Chatham Borough Council member Justin Strickland among a handful of names that are said to be interested. Sherrill represents the 11th congressional district for New Jersey, covering Essex, Morris, and Passaic counties. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
And another sign that our lives are just moving way too fast. It's already Rockefeller Center Christmas tree time. How did that happen? So they cut down the tree yesterday from a property in East Greenbush. That's just south of Albany. This was about the most exciting thing that ever happened in this tiny little town.
This is an honor and a historic moment for East Greenbush, the tree being picked from this area.
It's definitely bringing a lot more attention to the area.
Yeah, a 75-foot-tall, 11-ton Norway spruce being donated by the Russ family, being brought to the city. It'll be hoisted at the plaza on Saturday.
It's nice that knowing that it's been taken from here.
But I mean, maybe this will give me a good reason this year to go.
So it's nice that knowing that it's been taken from here.
Okay, tree arrives tomorrow morning. It'll take them a while to put it up and put all the lights on. The tree lighting, that'll be on December 3rd, which, by the way, happens to be my birthday, if you want to write that down. In fact, you know what? I'm going to write it down just so I remember. 5:57, traffic, transit on the 7s. Here's Joe Nolan.
I'll get you a Hess truck or something. How's that?
Oh, that would be cool.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.